Hi, welcome to Butterfly Grace Podcast. I am your host, Angela Perry Donnerson. Thank you so much for tuning back into my podcast. And this is episode 2. Just to give you a reminder, is that I am a breast cancer survivor. As of today, October the 4th, 2024, I am celebrating my third year of remission in breast cancer or of breast cancer. So I'm so thankful. I am so grateful that God has allowed me to see another day and to celebrate another year, and also to give him honor and praise through my story. And I hope that my story blesses your life. Okay. And if you know anybody, please share. This is not just for people with breast cancer. I am a breast cancer survivor, but you can have any type of cancer, or you may not have cancer at all. I just hope that I can say something that will encourage you, or I admonish you to get your mammograms done. Okay. Men can have breast cancer as well. So we will take that journey and talk about those conversations as we go along. But I want to pick back up with episode number 2 to tell you about my story, how this happened to me. Okay. And you can catch it from episode number 1 to catch up. Okay. If you missed it. Well, now that I have, the doctor has came in and checked me, they have scheduled me a mammogram. So now I go to take this mammogram, right? Have I had mammograms before? Yes, I have taken my mammograms when I'm supposed to, right? Okay, so I took my mammogram and I was waiting on my results again. It seems like this is like this, I'm noticing a little pattern here. Okay, so there was some hesitation the first time. Now I got hesitation again because the doctor is like, has my images up on the wall, but he's just staring at them. And he had his hand up to his mouth. And I was like, is everything okay? You know, they was like, well, Angela, they had me just, wait out there for a while. Well, they just had me waiting so long until I knew like this is not normal. Okay. So he told me, he said he's seen some calcifications. So I began to try to think and figure out, okay, exactly what is he talking about? Okay, calcifications. That's like calcium, maybe. Is that in my milk ducts? That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay. And I said, okay, so do you want to elaborate? Give me some more information. What's wrong? Is something wrong? He was trying to make sure that they didn't give me any inclination of what they probably thought or saw. That's what I assume now. And, just to keep me calm, right? So it's like, oh, we're just gonna, just take a look at your images, and we'll let you know and all this. But it took so long. I asked, could I go home? And they just called me with the results. Well, they told me, said, well, Angela, what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna send you over to Memphis, and we're gonna get you a biopsy just to make sure nothing to alarm. We don't want to alarm you or anything like that. They was trying to make sure, like I stated, to keep me calm, right? So I was like, man, they told me I had to take a stereotactic mammogram, which I had never heard of before in my life. Okay. So at this point, I'm not worried, but I'm concerned. Like, okay, now this hadn't happened before. So why am I going to get a biopsy? Okay. You get a biopsy to see if something wrong. I mean, I've never been to, I'm not a doctor or a nurse. Please keep that in mind. I'm not giving any medical advice, none whatsoever. I am just telling you what happened to me. Okay. This is what happened to Angela. Okay. So I said, well, okay. So now I have to wait until this mammogram, this stereotactic mammogram gets scheduled. Okay. So the waiting game until that happens is it's like on my mind, kind of. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I don't know about this. It seemed like it's something wrong or something, and I kept feeling it lump. You could just feel it with me sitting straight up. It was hard. It's like, I mean, if you touch it, you could just feel it. I was like, I wonder, what is this? Well, let's go back a little bit in the 90s. I had a lump in my breast, in my left breast, in the 90s. Okay. So that came back benign, and I had it removed, which they call it a lumpectomy. You know. Okay, so I had it removed and it was benign. So since I had something similar to happen to me before, guess what I was doing? I was diagnosing myself. Let's be honest. People do that. And I'm not a doctor, like I stated, and I'm certainly not a nurse. Okay, so I'm thinking, well, since I had one over there on my left side before and it was benign, I'm thinking, well, they're just gonna remove it, whatever it is. That's what I was thinking. So, honey, let me tell you something now. I'm gonna give you some information. Give me just a second here. Okay. I want to tell you what a stereotactic breast biopsy is. Okay. It is a minimally invasive procedure that uses a computer guided imaging system to remove a tissue sample from the breast to confirm if an abnormality is cancerous. That's what I had to get done. Now, let me describe this what happened. So I get there to get this biopsy done. Walk into this room. It is so cold in there. Oh my God. It was freezing in there to me. I had to lay flat on this table and get undressed waist up. Okay. So you lay flat head first on the table. The breast that is the one that they have to remove the tissue from, you place it in a hole on the table. The doctor explains that, okay, you're going to hear these loud sounds, but it's okay. If you got any questions, just kind of, wave your hand, and, we'll stop or whatever if necessary. So I didn't move, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I was crying. I was crying on that table. Do you hear me? I was to myself, honey. I was like, Lord, what is going on here? Okay, so then the machine started making all this noise, and the doctor gets up underneath the table. I'm telling you what happened. Gets underneath the table, and they have to numb you, of course. Real good for me. And honey, you can hear that stick. It says shoot like that. The machine makes noises, like she stated. And so they put a marker inside my breast. And then I guess on the way out, it suctions the tissue samples out and it goes in this tube somewhere and to get prepared for the lab. Okay. So on the table, do you know what I really was thinking about? My grandbaby. She was just born. This was November of 2020. This is during the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. This is what's going on in the world. Okay. So My grandbaby was premature, and I was thinking about her. And to me, I just couldn't imagine myself holding her little hand. And I was just crying, and praying. And like I knew I had to be strong for her. That's what really helped me right there on the table, to be honest. And so I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on? So here we go again with these images placed on the wall. Okay. But this time, I heard this doctor, I heard her say, oh dear. And I was like, I said, what's wrong? I'm still laying flat on this table. You got to have your head turned to it was turned to my left. So I was like, what's the matter? What do you see? What's going on? And so here again, they try to calm me. Do not want the patient to get upset, honey, because I was probably would have got upset, honey. Like as in crying upset. I was already crying. So she tells me, said, well, Angela, what we're gonna do is coming up to Thanksgiving, and we're gonna send your the samples in, and once the lab reads the get the results, once they read everything and give me the results, I'm gonna let you know as soon as I know some information, okay? But don't worry, you go enjoy your Thanksgiving. She's trying to tell me all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, so how am I gonna enjoy Thanksgiving? And y'all scare me still. I was still like, what is going on here, people? Oh Lord, and when nobody telling me nothing. I was like, okay. So now I gotta still have this on my mind during Thanksgiving. Was it like, it's not easy because it's like the unknown. You don't know what they're gonna say. I didn't have any idea they was gonna tell me I had cancer. That was not on my mind at all. I was thinking, here again, I had diagnosed myself that this is going to be a lumpectomy because it was something I was familiar with that had happened to me before. And guess what? That is not what happened. Mm-mm. So, and I think that's the path that I'm on right now. It's like everything is kind of feeling unfamiliar, and the way God has blessed me or used me in the past, and like how he had brought me through that lumpectomy back in the 90s. It is a different story. This is new waters, honey. I have never treaded before in my life. Okay. So now I'm like, I want to say anxious, but the scripture tells us don't be anxious for nothing. So I'm trying to make it through Thanksgiving without, upsetting myself, without some, I don't know. I didn't want to upset myself and for no reason. And then I want to also try to brace myself in case something was wrong. But I didn't think it would be cancer though. I thought maybe, like I said, I had this little minor surgery, outpatient surgery, get it out, whatever it is, honey, get it removed. And so I can go on. Okay. But oh my goodness, this is where everything took a turn. So stay tuned for episode 3. We're going to dive a little deeper into my story. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned.